Hi everyone, Almighty Cthulhu here. I'm going to be doing a second video for the Pocket Hávámal today. This is going to be a couple of stanzas, and just so you guys know, this is the Pocket Hávámal. It's the Benjamin Thorpe translation and the Carrie Overton edition, or edit. It's the second edition to be made. It's only like $7.99 on Amazon if you guys are interested in getting this. Like I said, I was going to be doing a couple of these today just because they all kind of fit together. It just makes the most sense to be doing them that way. I'm going to be doing these one at a time because they're kind of strange to read. Like I said, they're a little strange, but we can figure it out going through pretty easily. It's stanzas 2 through 4. So 3 stanzas in total, but they all fit together. The first one, so stanza 2, Givers hail, a guest is come in, where shall he sit? In much haste is he who on the ways has to try his luck. It's a little weird to say, but it's, be kind. Hospitality was a big thing with the Norse. It's one of the 9 noble virtues, I believe. I'm going to do a video on that later. I know some of them, not quite all of them, though. They slip my mind. I'm sure when I look at the list, I'll remember them all. Doesn't look too good on me right there. But, it was an important thing, hospitality, to these cultures, because it was a way to make friends. When someone was coming into your house, they were under your defense, and it was a way to build reputation. If you, giving gifts was, and we'll see this in the next couple of stanzas, but giving gifts was customary, from what I understand. Keep in mind, I'm not a historian. I'm just interested in these sorts of things. But from what I understand, giving gifts was very customary to anybody who would be coming into your house, and it'd be customary for them to be bringing a guest gift as well. There's some other stanzas further along in this that involve being a good guest, but this is mostly to deal with being a good host. So, the next stanza is stanza 3. Fire is needful to him who is come in, and whose knees are frozen. Food and raiment a man requires, whoever the fell has traveled. Pretty straightforward. If it's cold, which I would imagine up in Scandinavia, it's quite cold pretty often. At least that's what I've heard. So fire. Give him a place close to sit by the fire. He's been outside all night. If you want to make a good impression on someone, and it's cold, best place to sit them would be by the source of heat. Or at least close enough to where they're not going to be getting chills from the outside. That's a good way to do it. It brings you into the fold, and usually you'd think that that's where the everyone would be sitting on a cold winter night, is by the source of heat. So you want to bring him into the group. You want to make him feel included. Food and raiment a man requires is another part of that. And that food. Everybody wants food. Bring someone into your house, offer them something to eat. They might be hungry, especially back in the day. They might have been on the road for days. And sometimes that still might be the case. You're not sure. But even so, it's polite to offer your guest food when they come over to your house. Even if it's just little snacks, the gesture matters very much so. And especially if they're starving, it'd probably, gain you a new friend if you fed a starving man. Or woman. I'm sure that those were around too. Whoever the fellow has traveled, I'm a little sketchy on this one. I'm not going to say that I understand it completely, but I'm going to guess wherever they've traveled, or whoever they may be, everybody's in need of these things. Fire and food, warmth and food, and assumably shelter because they're coming into your house, or your hall, or onto your property. Maybe you're just letting them set up camp there for a night. Or onto your land. Because you might be a king, who knows? Viking kings. It's given to you by Odin. You might have been talking to kings one day. Or back in the past. The fourth stanza is, water to him is needful, who for refection refection comes, sorry, that's a weird word, a towel and hospitable invitation, a good reception if he can get it, discourse and answer. Water. Just as much as food, you need water. This kind of piggybacks again. Like I said, these three work together, so water is needed too. This is gnomic advice. For those of you who don't know, gnomic advice is poetry that's written in stanza form, so that you have you can remember parts of it a little bit easier, because this used to be an oral tradition, so you could much easier remember stanzas than you would be able to remember long books. So remembering one after the other was much easier to do than all as one big unit. But a towel and hospitable invitation, a good reception if he can get it, discourse and answer. I would assume a towel means let them bathe, clean themselves up a little bit. If you've been on the road for multiple days, or even if you've just been in modern circumstances, if you've been in a car for a couple hours, maybe they need to use the bathroom. Let them refresh themselves. Let them feel clean, I suppose. A hospitable invitation and a good reception, if he can get it. This is saying don't go out of your way, because, and we'll deal with it later, don't go out of your way to care for a guest if it's beyond your means. This is to say, if your family, if someone comes over and your family or whoever you live with, you're all like in a fight, because it happens, everybody fights, and it's just a real tense atmosphere, and someone walks out of the house and slams the door and their friend walks in, you're not going to be able to be super cheery and bubbly and be like, oh, hey, what's going on? Like, don't go beyond your means to bring someone in. But if you can, give them a good reception. Let it be known that they're there, who they are. Just be like, hey, guys, look who's here. You know, it's polite. It's letting everybody know who's with them. So not only is it polite to the guest who's coming in, because you will have an opportunity to introduce people who's, they might not know, but and vice versa, you'll get to introduce everybody who might not know this person to them. So yeah, pretty good advice, I think. If he can get it, and discourse and answer. I'm really gonna have to figure a way to put these in the video, because some of them are kind of long, especially with the stories. I might want to do that, but I'm going to assume that this means a good conversation, discourse and answer. So that's a little bit of a weird statement, but good. Maybe allow him to ask questions, or so that he can get the answers that he needs. Let him ask what he wants, like whose names are these, where am I exactly, how much further is it to this place? Because earlier in the stanza it was talking how they might be in haste. Stanza 1, or 2, in much haste is he who on his way tries his luck. So he might need some answers for the road ahead. This would make sense. It's kind of it'd be a little weird not having a friend know how to get to your house, but maybe you just moved somewhere new, or maybe they've never been over there, or maybe you just met and you guys are getting together for the first time. So if they have any questions about like where exactly things are around them, why not answer them? I'm not sure if that's exactly what it means, but we can, that sounds like good advice if that's how it's taken. So take it with a grain of salt. I'll try to start posting these in the videos so that you guys can read them for yourselves and come up with your own opinions on these, because obviously this is just one person talking about a book that's been around for, I think this was made in the 15th century, or maybe a little earlier, like first composed in the Codex Regius, I believe it's called, but I'm not sure. I can do maybe a history video on this sometime and let you guys know what had happened and how we get all of this. So this just hit the 10-minute mark. I'm gonna get out of here, so I'm just gonna sit and wait for the stars to turn. Have a good night.